Good morning, traders. It is Friday, May 10th, the end of another week. I'm Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators. Quick reminder, don't forget to press that like button, give us a thumbs up on the video, and throw in any comments or questions or anything you may have down in the comment box below, and I will be happy to take a look at whatever you put in there. If you've got specific symbols you'd like analyzed or anything you'd like explained or what have you, I will do my best to help you out. That's what I'm here for. All right, with that, let us start by taking a look at the S&P 500, which is pretty much always where I kick things off. So the S&P clearly is in pullback mode. And of course, the media in general and so forth is attributing this to Trump's, tariff talks and the China trade war and blah, 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 blah. The fact is that it was due. It was time. There's no question about it. We were absolutely at the end of a wave five. It was just time. Simple as that. We hit the 261.8 extension. I mean, everything technically was already telling us it's time for pullback. So no big shock that that's what we're getting. That being said, it is likely that very soon we will complete wave A down. So that would be wave A here, and then we will do a wave B and then a wave C. Now, I suspect that wave A's got a little bit more to go because I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. We still need a 4 and a 5. So I don't know exactly where it's going to go. Obviously, nobody can tell you exactly where it has to go, but that's what I'm seeing. Potentially a little bit more downside, but at the same time, as much as we say ignore news and so forth, news will influence a good chunk of market participants. So if news comes out very soon, this morning or something like that, whatever, if some kind of positive news came out that a resolution has been reached and the China agreement is good and blah blah blah, then we could see this be a point where things bounce a little bit. We will have to see, but regardless, either way, I'm seeing this as wave A down, then we're looking for B up, and then C down, and that is my expectation. So we'll have to see if that plays out. Now on the intraday, come on, give me my zoom. There we go. On the intraday, you can certainly see that playing out. There it is: lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, etc. But take a look at the oscillator. It is trying to build some strength. So the end of this move down, this first leg down, is probably near. We did, however, just finally cross the zero line on the oscillator today. And that is the first time since back here. So it's been a while. It's been months, and we've just been bulls in control, bulls in control. And finally, officially, technically speaking, the Bears are wrestling control away from the Bulls. So certainly there is more downside to be had in this pullback. But that being said, I'm expecting a bounce in the near term. And, maybe it's even starting now. Maybe we get it today. I tend to not really expect that out of a Friday, but hey, you know what? The market does what the market does. It does what it wants. So we'll have to wait and see what today gives us on the open. Overnight, it's looking like Europe came online around midnight, right there, and kind of just really went sideways. Europe didn't do a whole lot; it pretty much just stayed right in here, and it hasn't been until this morning, really just the last couple of hours, that things have moved to the downside. So it's looking like the American traders are prepping for downside. They're trying to sell now, anticipating further downside, and then they can buy back. So we'll have to see what happens at the open. Do the buyers, the bullish buyers, show up in force and push this market higher because they believe that the news is saying that the China talks are resolved or whatever it is. There will always be something. And then they just pile in to buy, or is the selling pressure, is the nervousness going to get to them, and at any bounce up, we're still going to see them selling it down. So we won't know really until the open gets here. Right now, though, the Bears are in control, both on the daily. You can see it that the MACD line crossed the signal line to the downside back here, and then it just kept on trucking. And then also on the 60 right now, it's been flirting with its signal line here, couldn't do it, and now it's rolling over. So it certainly is looking weak. But we'll find out in 40 minutes what the market wants to do at open. Let's take a peek at crude oil, and crude is still just riding that 50 SMA. So it's looking like it does not want to go any lower. But that being said, we do have a triangle pattern or a wedge or something, whatever you want to call it, forming here. So we got to be a little cautious of what happens at that point. Now, that being said, I also am seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could have a 5. It also could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're working on a 1. Right now, we don't know. This is the thing about wave counts is they are indistinct until they have actually played out. So it could go either way. It's not 100% clear. Right now, however, bears are in control. Oscillator went below the 0 line, MACD line below its signal line. The bears are hanging on to control. But on the intraday basis, you can see the oscillator just building and building and building and building and building and building and poking over the 0 line. So certainly the bulls are coming in and trying to take control. That definitely suggests to me that the likely direction for this to pop is to the upside. So we'll have to see if that actually plays out. But that is what the technicals are suggesting. Although just because they are suggesting something does not mean that is what has to happen. Always have to keep that in mind. We can always be wrong. There's always that possibility. This is the built-in risk in trading. This is why it is not risk-free. So the trend is up. We're at the 50 SMA, appear to be holding. Bullish strength on the smaller time frame seems to be coming in. I'm seeing this as a likely relatively low risk entry point. You could put your stop, well, depending on you, you could either put it outside the low of this candle, or you could just put it right outside the low, or not the low, but put it right outside the 50 SMA, something like that. Or maybe the low of the previous candle. So lots of possibilities depending on your personal risk tolerance and position sizing, and so forth. All right, gold is not doing a whole lot. Kind of trying to climb higher. The oscillator is building here, but it's not making it really clear what it wants to do. Right now, it's just kind of trapped in this little sideways range here. So not a whole lot happening. It seems like the gold market is kind of nervously waiting to see what happens, and that makes sense. If you consider gold to be that safe haven investment that people turn to in times of uncertainty in the markets, etc., then this is what you'd expect people to see if the market continues to correct. And if everybody is still freaked out over China talks or whatever it may be, then that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting gold to go up if everybody is nervous about the rest of the markets. So right now, it seems like everyone's just kind of waiting on the sidelines. What is China going to do? What is the politics going to do? You can see it really well here on the 60-minute chart, the range that we're just stuck in right now, and the oscillator is trying to go higher, but nothing really definitive. There's nothing real clear cut. We don't have like a divergence or anything like that going on. So right now, it is really anybody's game in gold. It could go either way. The trend is down on the 21 EMA here. Is pointing down, or sorry, that's not the 21, that's the 50. Sorry, the 50 SMA, the 21 EMA is actually here and just going sideways on the daily. Now on the 60-minute, you can see that it's really very sideways right now. Just oscillating around above and below the 50 right now. And right now, it has the 21 has crossed above the 50, but will that hold? Who knows? The oscillator is not terribly strong. There's not a huge amount of momentum, so uh, don't know if that's really going to hold or not. But it's really just holding its breath right now, I think, for the broader markets to decide what they're going to do. Let's take a peek at natural gas, and natural gas is trying to bounce. It looks like it's trying to form that first higher low and then break the previous lower high. It's so close right now. Look at that. Look how close that came to that. Very, very close. And it did that on big momentum. And so even though the momentum drained out and we actually went to the bear side on the oscillator on the 60-minute, the price hasn't pulled back that far. It's holding up there. So this is looking bullish to me. I'm seeing a new bull trend emerging. I think it's reasonable that that's what we're going to get from here. We will have some kind of confirmation of that effort beginning, of course, if this high is broken. Right now, technically, the 50 trend is very sideways, but it was coming from a down, or that's not the 50. Sorry, again, that's the 21. The 21 EMA is very sideways. The 50 is also fairly sideways. It is still slightly down, but it has clearly leveled off and is trying to flatten out. Oscillator is coming up, getting closer to that zero line. So it looks to me like we've got a bullish opportunity brewing in natural gas. I'm definitely leaning that direction. That the bulls are going to be coming in here fairly soon. Doesn't look like we're going to actually get down into this buy zone. This might be it. Then again, that being said, this could just be a temporary wiggle in things, and maybe it rolls over from here and comes back down. It could go either way, but the technicals are certainly suggesting strength is building in this market. So as long as we hold above that low there, then I'd say we have a new bull trend emerging as soon as this previous lower high is broken. All right, let's wrap up with a peek at Bitcoin, which has broken higher. I am surprised, pleasantly so. I really fully expected that we needed a pullback first before we could have this. And looks like the buyers are just not even going to wait for that. They are just charging ahead and they're gunning for this area here, that previous lower high there. So this is looking very strong. The oscillator was getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and that's a big part of why I was anticipating a pullback, and also just because the pattern of higher highs and higher lows, it was kind of due, and it didn't happen. We just broke higher, did break this 60-minute trend line for a little while, but then price just wanted to come right back up above it. Once that happened, then it's just been a straight rise, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs. And that's where we find ourselves currently. The oscillator is down around this level, kind of a triple top, you could call it there, while price is surging higher. So that's a little bit concerning in the short term that we don't see oscillator going stronger and stronger and stronger. But don't write anything off, as certainly this move here showed. Don't write it off just because the oscillator is getting weaker. We still need to look at our patterns of higher highs and higher lows, our extensions, all that kind of thing. In fact, on that note, since this is looking to me like a 0, 1, 2, and then we're in a 3 right now, let's see where 3 might end. We'll go to extension and just toss an extension on here real quick, like about there, and it's right there. So 261.8 is generally speaking the ideal, like 161 to 261, somewhere in there is where we're usually looking for an extension. That's another reason why I was thinking this high is what we were going to see, and then we were going to get a pullback because we were right smack in the middle of the 161 and 261. But here we have broken higher, so it's looking like this could be coming up on the end of a wave 3, unless, I mean, if it's an incredibly strong wave, there's always the possibility that it's not done yet and it's ready to keep on going. That happens sometimes. But generally, I would be anticipating probably a pullback at this point. I'm thinking on the smaller time frame, something like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. That's what I'm seeing here. So, will it play out that way? We don't know for sure. We'll have to just give it a little time to work itself out. But trade carefully at this point. I'm feeling a pullback coming very soon. So just if you're a trader and not just a long term hodler, then certainly play it tight. Keep tight stops if you want to use the bottom of the current candle, the daily candle, something like that. Or if you want to be even tighter intraday, you could use something like the 50 SMA, something like that. But just trade smart, trade carefully, and be ready to protect any gains that you might have on the table. Okay, that is it for this morning's analysis. Anything happening in the S&P? The answer is nope, not really. We do have a new candle that's just come out because we've just struck 6 o'clock. So now what's this candle going to do? Are we going to have continuation to the downside? MACD line is certainly suggesting that to the downside. And of course, that cross of the zero line is very suggestive of further downside continuation. So I'm anticipating a down opening, at least a down morning. But hey, they could turn that around at any time. Maybe we get down double bottom at this low here or something, and then march higher. Anything is possible. We do have a bullish divergence here as price went lower, the oscillator went higher, and now the oscillator is just right near the zero line. So it really could go either way, as I mentioned already, depending on just what buyers do. If they come into this market and are excited, want to buy it, then there you go. They're going to push it up. All right, that is all. Time to go get ready for our premium trading room this morning and for the trading day ahead. So again, I'm Jonathan Van Clute with Stock Navigators, reminding you to smash that like button down below, give us a thumbs up, and give us some comments if you've got anything you want to throw into the comments for me, tickers, questions, anything like that. Whatever I can do to try to help you out in your trading. If I can do it, I will do it. All right, that is it. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope you have a good trading Friday, a good end to your week, and a happy Mother's Day to anybody out there to whom that is important. And that is tomorrow, of course, for those of you who don't follow that kind of thing. So you might want to consider the mothers in your life and give them a little acknowledgement. So on Monday, I'll be back to do this again. So until then, take care and trade well. Bye bye.